Halloween is one of those holidays that is usually filled with lots of yard work, pumpkin carving, and haunted house scouting. This year, we are on a hunt for great costume ideas to make it all worthwhile. So we talked to the experts at Magic Costume Shop.
My business partner and I were both performing magicians in the Twin Cities, and we decided to start a magic shop. And we were going to be the world's greatest magic shop. Well, after starting in the magic business, it was suggested that if we wanted to continue to eat, that we might add some other things to the project. So we started adding Halloween, and that was back in 1986. And Halloween just started to really blossom at that time and become a national phenomenon, as it's now the second largest retail holiday in the country. Just in general, you started out back when commercial Halloween costumes became ready-made packages in the stores, and that would have been back in the 60s and 50s and 60s, and those were more like the little plastic mask and a vinyl cape for a classic costume like a witch or a monster. And then, of course, they developed more over the years into better quality fabrics, more detailed things, and licenses came out, so you had Superman and Batman and the Hulk and all the different cartoon type characters. And originally started as more costumes were available for children. And now children have grown up, and those children are having children, and they're still getting costumes, but they're also dressing up. So you have a larger, it's developed into more of an adult type of party, a reason to have an excuse to get dressed up, be a little wild and crazy, maybe take on a persona that people aren't used to seeing you in. Over the last few years, in ladies' costumes, shorter, sexier line costumes have become very popular. Now with the vampire craze, that's very big for this year with all the different vampire TV shows and vampire movies. You've got the fangs and so forth. And vampires today aren't the traditional Count Dracula with the cape and the tuxedo. They're normal dressed clothes, but then all of a sudden when they smile, you see these nice long fangs. So it's just developed into more of a participation thing by all ages, but they've got so many more tools with wigs. We have over 15,000 wigs in the building. We've got makeup from several manufacturers that allow you to just apply paint on makeup like a face paint, but also three-dimensional makeup. Each year the emphasis sways a little bit. Typically it's focused a little bit around what movies have come out over the summertime. They play a big role in influencing what costumes are produced and people that they recognize as famous to emulate. Also, of course, this year with the people in the news, Michael Jackson, Farrah Fawcett, political parties. Last year was a big political year because of the presidential election, and just because politics have remained in the news item, it will also carry through this year. Costumes aren't just for Halloween anymore. Basically, if Hallmark has a greeting card for it, we have a costume for it. God knows they've got a lot of greeting cards. So from that standpoint, the costumes themselves are more used year-round. Other events, Mardi Gras has become very big across the country for dress-up, and that is either just it can be in several forms. It can be in a little eye mask, or it could be in a full purple, green, and gold type of theme, or people have decade type themes. And again, decades have proved to be very fun parties where people say, we're having a party or a murder mystery party, and the theme is set in the 20s. Come as a 1920s golfer, come as a 1920s movie star, come as a gangster, come as the banker, and they put all these things together and have a grand old time. Well, we've done a lot of custom mascots for businesses and corporations and holidays and events and Halloween. One of my favorites was we once created a waste monster, and this was done off of a sketch for saving and recycling, and this waste monster had fangs and a long nose, and he had big horns and big ears, and he was just a very, very cool looking character. Anytime someone's in town traveling through, whether it's a Broadway touring show or a movie being filmed here, we've worked with the HBO on filming comedy specials with Kevin Meaney. We worked on Jingle All the Way. We've worked on several films, as well as the very large and extensive theater community within the Twin Cities. We have more theater per capita than anywhere outside of New York City. To the extent of the tricks themselves, the tricks may be different. The presentation more grand for the performer versus the hobbyist or family entertainer. but everybody's got a little bit of the same heart inside where they want to have fun, make somebody smile, and have a good time. And you can start out with a simple self-working trick, a little mechanical trick that you'd pick up at the magic counter, and it will do the trick by itself, and you just have to tell a story. And as you progress, you'll learn to do things with sleight of hand where you're making the magic happen without the aid of special props. When Twin Cities Magic and Costume moved over to our new location 2.5 years ago, part of the reason was for more space for the retail, but also to expand what we use as a stage area for lectures and teaching magic classes and for theatrical performance of magic. And so we've opened the Jewel Theater on the 2nd floor, and that's a 150-seat theater, and we've been putting on magical productions and lectures and seminars, and it's turned out very well. People get to see talent from all over the world as well as local talent. We just recently had in Michael Amar, who's performed on The Tonight Show and all over the world, and Greg Gleason, who's performed over 9,000 shows in Las Vegas. In fact, we had a stage show with big illusions that normally you'd see from a huge distance, and it was a very intimate setting because it's an intimate theater with 150 seats, and it was really an opportunity that no one usually gets. The latest show from Theater Fools being A Spirit of Halloween, one man's circus sideshow of creepy conjuring. I've always been a performing magician. I started doing magic when I was 8 years old, and so I've always enjoyed entertainment, and you know, the costume is part of that entertainment, as well as we used to set up a small miniature haunted house that we'd build out of Tinker Toys, and we had little wax figures, and you know, today those things are available as Department 56 items, where you buy a little figurine and you build a whole mini town or a haunted attraction in miniature. We used to do it the hard way and the original way, which was to do it out of sticks and paper. Not to sound old or anything, because I'm hardly that, but that in the good old days.